أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له من يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بالهدى ودين الحق وليهديه الله أدني كله ولا كاره المشرك آمنت بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسوله ويحمي الخير وقدر خيره وشره من الله تعالى. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. To be here with you brothers and the little sister today. Alhamdulillah that you made it here for Jumu'ah. Alhamdulillah, I didn't plan to be here to address the community, but alhamdulillah, I have some thoughts that I was reading, and I feel that it would be appropriate if I share them with you. This is in connection with Surah 67, Al-Mulk, and I want to just share a viewpoint that was expressed. First, let me just say also that whomsoever Allah guides, there is no one that can mislead. And whoever is misled, it's a choice. But in this surah, on the one hand, the teachings of Islam have been introduced briefly, and on the other, the people living in the heedlessness have been aroused from their slumber in a most effective way. A characteristic of the earliest surah of the Meccan period is that they present the entire teachings of Islam and the object of the Holy Prophet's mission, not in detail, but briefly, so that they are assimilated by the people easily. Moreover, they are particularly directed to make the people shun heedlessness, to make them think, and to arouse their dormant conscience. But I want to get right to what really struck me when I was reading this. If I can just give me a second to tune in on it. Well, I'll paraphrase. The people who gave Prophet Muhammad or the prophets a lot of hard time. They didn't respect what he was saying, and they viewed him as, a madman. But the point that was made was, no matter what they said or did to the prophet, how is that going to play out to them, to themselves? Those who are doing that, who are ridiculing and citing the prophet as being madman, what is going to be the result? Or how is it going to impact on them what they say about the prophet? In other words, they will have to be accountable for what's coming their way as a result of their actions. It mentions a dreadful consequence of disbelief, which will appear in the hereafter, have been mentioned, and the people told that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by sending his prophets, has warned them of these consequences. In this very world, as if to say, now if you do not believe in what the prophets say and correct your attitude and behavior accordingly, in the hereafter, you will yourself have to admit that you really deserve the punishment that was being meted out to you. The truth that has been impressed on the minds is that the Creator cannot be unaware of his creation, as if to say, he is aware of each open and hidden secret of yours, even the innermost ideas in your heart. The right basis of morality is that man should avoid evil, fearing the accountability of the unseen God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether in the world there is a power to take him to task for this or not. And whether in the world there is a possibility of being harmed by such a power or not. And those who adopt such a conduct in the world alone will deserve forgiveness and a rich reward in the hereafter. This is what we have to keep in mind. And this sometimes we can get distracted because there's so much going on in the dunya, so many responsibilities that we have to handle in the dunya, that our vision can temporarily or permanently be obscured. That we won't see. We won't even be able to deduce what is important. What is the most important? And the most important, seeing that we are all moving in the same direction, we're moving toward the hereafter. So what is important for us to guard? Your relationship with your Lord. Your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers, sisters, little sisters, I can't tell you enough. And a brother said it to me once, and it impacted on me, but I didn't feel the impact until, now. And that was, he said, Shukri, he said, you make your early morning prayer, you feel good all day. He said, you don't make your prayer. He was from another country. He said, if you don't make your prayer, you won't feel good. And it's true. It's true. We have, and my ears is closest to my mouth. So this is a reminder for me, always. And it's a reminder that you want to keep in front because it plays a part. Your relationship with your Lord plays a part in your journey. You can't separate. Allah knows everything that you do. You'll be accountable for everything that you do here. He said, look at the earth on which you move about full satisfaction and peace of mind, and from which you obtain your sustenance, has been subdued for you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, this earth might at any time start shaking suddenly so as to cause your destruction or a typhoon might occur, which may annihilate you completely. Look at the birds that fly above you. It is only Allah who is sustaining them in the air. Look at your own means and resources. If Allah wills to inflict you with the scourge, none can save you from it. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills to close the doors of sustenance on you, none can open them. It's such a good feeling, brother. And I can do nothing but share that when you make your salat on time, it's pure satisfaction. You feel satisfied. You feel complete. So these things are there to make you aware of the truth, but you see them like animals. And this is what the dunya can nurture in you. It can have you moving on your lower naps. And you thinking you're doing something. The lower naps can take you out. All the way out. In fact, it's even described in Nafs al-Mutmain, I believe. I believe. Not, I'll correct myself later. But it says it can take you to a level where you become totally evil. Totally evil. It has been said, you have ultimately to appear before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any case. It is not for the Prophet to tell you the exact time and the date. This is where our iman comes in. And I always mention, about our iman and how it leads to an elevating path through which your upright human nature can ascend to its ultimate perfection. It is a light to show you where to place your feet along that elevated path. It's a connection between you and your Lord. And remember that once the connection is broken, the inevitable is a decline. So you're going you're going to be moved on, and Shaitan is going to have a field day with you. This is, you know, when you think about when the prayers was being established, it was a lot more than 5 times a day. But the 5 times a day, brother, is so on time because we need it throughout the day. We need that connection throughout the day to keep our focus, you know, so that we can continue to yield our will to these divine laws and this divine will and keep our inclinations in accordance with what Prophet Muhammad brought, which was the Quran. So my beloved brothers and sisters, let's pause and ask Allah for forgiveness. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Kama sayyidina Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. That very first ayat in Surah Al-Mulk, the kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, says, blessed is he in whose hand is the kingdom, and he is possessor of power of all things, over all things. Short Meccan chapter, which are no doubt generally amongst the earliest revelations of the Holy Prophet, often speak most forcibly of the greatness and the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my beloved brothers and sisters, let us keep this in mind. Alhamdulillah, with this opportunity to be amongst you through all the, all the snow. And you're here, alhamdulillah. The little sisters here, alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ببارك اسمك وتعالى جدك لا اله الا غيرك اعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله اكبر الله اكبر اشهد ان لا اله الا الله واشهد ان محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله